Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to a standalone answer and question video. This comes from Gurpreet Singh, who asks, which website or news channel do you follow for USA financial brief news? Now, I could make this video the shortest one in history with my answer in saying I don't get any of my information, financial information from news channels or websites. Zero, absolute zero. So that could be the end of the video, but I will expand on my answer. Why don't I watch news channels or why don't I go to websites? And how do I get my information, my United States financial information? So I answer all those questions right now. Okay, on to news channels first. Why don't I watch news channel TV? There are two reasons behind that. First reason is I find watching TV, normal TV, quite inefficient. And the reason I say quite inefficient is because a lot of actually I'll use an example. So my parents still watch like game shows and news on channel 7 or channel 9 or channel 10. And whenever I sit down and start watching the news channels, within about 2 or 3 minutes I get up and go do something else, because a lot of times they will show stories that I have zero interest in. So you have to watch the stories that the channel, the producer decides you should be watching. And I just find that really inefficient because a lot of times I just don't care about the story they are showing. And the other thing is the ads, so many ads. And every single time I sit down to watch any sort of TV show these days when it's on normal TV, and the first ad that comes along, I just have to leave. Now, usually you get 5 or 6 ads in a row, 30 seconds each or something ridiculous like that. And I don't mind YouTube. In fact, I do watch YouTube quite often, and I don't mind how YouTube does their ads. Most of the times you can skip them. You might have to watch 30 seconds and then you can skip it. And that's the way I like it. So that's the main reason I don't watch news channels. Like, for instance, even Ausbiz. I don't watch Ausbiz. I tried, but a lot of times it's just information I don't want or need. And so when it comes to Ausbiz, I look for specific stories, and you can actually do that on the website. And speaking of websites, now there's no reason why I don't go to websites. In fact, I do go to some websites when it comes to the ASX, but when it comes to United States financial news, I don't really look at any websites apart from one, and that is the NASDAQ earnings calendar. That is one website I do go quite often. So how do I get my USA financial news? Well, there's one easy answer to that, and that is through emails. I get lots and lots of emails, and I just find that way more efficient and way more useful than any other medium. You might be able to go to Twitter or maybe Threads, or maybe there's some other way to get your information. But I do find emails to be my best or the best source for me to get USA financial news. So what I'm going to do now is go through some of the emails I do receive either on the weekend or every single day. So let's do that right now. Okay, so this is just Gmail. Yeah, all I have is a Gmail account. Just ignore my 18,946 unread emails. Yeah, I don't tend to delete many of my emails, but eventually I'm going to have to do that. Anyway, so I do receive quite a few emails every day, and quite often I will delete most of the emails, but not all of them. So what I'm going to do is just go back to the weekend, because on occasion I do get quite a few emails on the weekend, sort of like an overview of the previous week, and I do find sometimes they can be quite illuminating. Now, the first one I'm going to show you, and I will show you for those who don't know, actually before we do this, let's just have a look at the one website I usually do look at every single week, and this is NASDAQ earnings calendar. And the main reason I look at this is just I want to see which companies are releasing results. For instance, tonight we have Delta Airlines, Conagra Brands, whatever that is, and Levi Strauss is releasing results. And I would assume next week we're going to see a lot of companies releasing results. So for instance, because we're getting to that period of the quarter, so if we go to maybe Thursday, yeah, there we have Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, Netflix, GE Aerospace, Abbott Laboratories, PepsiCo. On Wednesday, we have Johnson & Johnson, Bank of America, Friday, we have American Express. And then the next week, we're going to see a lot of the other big companies releasing results. So this is actually a website I do go quite often, but not all the time. Now, in regards to earnings in the United States, there is an email I receive not only every day, but also on the weekend. And this is from Earnings Whispers. So on the weekend, they do release an email titled Most Anticipated Releases for the week beginning Monday, July 7. And here we have Delta and Levi's on Thursday. So this is a nice, easy way to just see which companies are releasing results in the United States during the next week. So that is, receive that on the weekend. Another email I do read on the weekend is from Bar Chart Brief. This is another site. I get emails every single day. They have a Saturday edition, and there's some nice articles in this. So sometimes you also get some information, but nice articles. For instance, how to generate Bitcoin income for real. Oh, what a great idea. Hard times for soft commodities. What's the prognosis on or for Pfizer? In search of a Tesla catalyst. So a lot of these articles I won't read, but I just go scroll through it, find articles I like to read, and I'll go from there. Even maybe some videos. Another article or another email I do receive on the weekend is from Market Index, one of my favorite Australian sites. So this is the weekend edition or the weekly wrap, talking about the end of financial year. And again, there's actually quite a few nice little articles in this. So they're talking about investor sentiment survey, a financial year 25 wrap up, where are valuations now, multiples relative to 10-year range in the different sectors. So some sectors are significantly overvalued, like financials, no duh. Even the ASX 200 is significantly overvalued, but there are some sectors actually undervalued, like industrials, or maybe even materials, utilities, healthcare, based off historical 10-year ranges. And IPOs, talking about IPOs here. IPOs are currently holding up, even though it's only 6 in June. 7. There have been 7 IPOs since June. There you go. The most new listings I've seen since late 2022. And they also talk about the dogs of the ASX. Funny enough, I've been doing a few videos on the dogs of the ASX. So that's another email I receive every weekend. A few of the sites I do look at include Fiscal AI. Now, this is mostly to do with articles. For instance, should Adobe investors be worried about Figma? This is a new IPO. What else do you have here? Well, in fact, it looks like the whole article is about Figma and should Adobe be worried. 5 best fiscal AI charts from this week. So you can see they use charts I like, using capital expenditure over OCF. Nike versus Lululemon. Intel versus TSMC. So a lot of times I have nice little charts and articles like that, which I do go through on occasion. What else do we have here? Oh, that's Invest Plus. Jason McIntosh, latest market technical update, which I have not looked at yet. That's received that 2 days ago. And then Market Index. I won't open this one, but they do have an evening wrap, which is an ASX wrap up. I won't open that up now because this particular question from Garip, whatever his name is about United States information. Now, there is a site or an email I get called Opto. Received that around about 7 p.m. every night. Yeah, 7:15 p.m. Top stories. So this is a bit more relevant to the question asked. Top stories, your daily update on US stock markets. So for instance, I'm recording this video on the 10th of July. So this is 19 hours old. So typically I do read this every night before I go to bed. So for instance, last night, tariff wars redux, quantum leader raises $1 billion, Samsung sees major profit drop in second quarter, CoreWeave neutralizes rival, crypto powerhouse, Switzerland approves Novartis malaria drug, small cap USA chip stocks to watch. So that's one email I get every single night and read that. And then through the night, when I wake up, I'll see that during the night, a lot of emails have been received. One of those is Rundown AI. So this is sort of the latest news when it comes to AI. So I do go through this every single day as well, just to see what's happening in AI, because in my opinion, this is a very important area. This is going to transform the world over the next few decades. Ticker. I like these emails from Ticker. Is Alphabet undervalued, Titan, or value trap? Not really news, but they do have news on here. So trending on Ticker, talking about Moderna, Fair Isaac Corporation, a company I've never heard of before, Progeny, NVIDIA, and they also track insider activity. And Tiga have also created a new valuation model. I haven't had a look at this, but they're saying, is Google too cheap? That's the question they're asking themselves. And I'll probably say yes. I wouldn't say too cheap. I don't think you can say ever a company could be too cheap, but I would say it's cheap. And also, eyes on the economy. So some of the news are going to be released this week. FOMC meeting minutes, expiration of US tariff pause, which I believe has been extended, that sort of thing. So these sort of little emails that I get every single day can give you a fair bit of information. Okay, what else do we have here? Motley Fool. This is not Motley Fool Australia. This is Motley Fool USA. Received this email at about 9:30 p.m. So a little bit later than I would like to receive it, because I'm usually in bed by then. But if I really want to wait up for this one, I could wait up and just read it. So it just goes through some of the news. Like, for instance, Trump slaps tariffs on copper imports. Starbucks eyes up China sale. Merck's Verona bid to boost pipeline, etc., etc. Okay, what else do we have here? So bar chart brief. Get this every single night as well. So at 3:51 a.m. So this is one of those I do read every single day. Lots of information in this. And also, if you want to watch a video. What else do we have here? I do like these videos, and Adam Taggart. So Stephanie Pomboy, the economy is a slow motion train wreck in progress, grinding our way towards recession. I do find this sort of side a little bit on the bearish side than bullish, but they do also bring along bulls on occasion. But I do watch these videos now and then. What else do I receive? Oh, Net Wealth Morning Brief, or Roundup, whatever it's called. This is actually a pretty good one. A lot of information in this. So they go through market reports, Australian market, US, European, Asian markets, and they also have a lot of Australian news. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So you just go down through this and you can just see it's just article after article. Not only that, a lot of the other sites only mention the big companies releasing a news flow. This particular site or this particular email gives you even small companies. For instance, Auric Mining has fired up its final toll. What else do we have here? They're talking about Northern Star. Kaiser Reef, they've got a little note about Kaiser Reef. And Clearview Technologies and Landgas Technology subsidiary, Landvac. Clearview is a fairly small company. There's Orthocell. Also talking about Qantas. So they just don't limit it to the big companies. They also have the small companies in this. They talk about world news. There's a lot of information here. So this is a fairly comprehensive sort of a morning wrap-up. Receive this, at 5:06 a.m. So just around the time I wake up. What else do we have here? So there's still more. White charts, well, I probably can skip this one. I do like that email, but we can skip it. Not Venture Insider, although this does have some interesting information, trends and headlines, but mostly to do with venture capitalists or whatever. What else? Livewire, no, we can skip that one. That's mostly to do with articles. Same with Morningstar. Earnings Whisper, this is good. Receive this every single day. And what they do is have a look at the companies that just release results and compare the results to expectations. For example, a company called AZZ released results and it beat expectations. I've never heard of this company. And then they also tell you if it's positive or negative. So this one was positive, and there was a negative guidance from Methode Electronics, which missed expectations or something. So receive that every single morning. I also get the Rivkin report. You also have to actually open up the article in this one. And it's okay. Sometimes I don't watch or read this one, but it's okay. And what else? Finally, we get to Market Index. This one is actually released quite late. So just before the market opens. Yes, so release or receive this at 8:43 a.m. And sometimes what they do with this is not only about the ASX, it's also what's happened on the USA markets overnight. So for instance, overnight summary, not only the US markets, but also commodities and Bitcoin and bonds and VIX, overnight markets, some articles within, not articles, but just telling you what happened overnight. For instance, NVIDIA hit a second straight record high. US companies brace for first earnings season since trade war. Bond trading, talking about Goldman and Sachs and Bank of America, differ on economic outlooks. Talk about stocks. Oppenheimer upgrades Microsoft. Amazon Prime Day sales were down 41% on the sales first day. Whoa! Is that pointing to anything? What else do we have here? Merck close to $10 billion deal to acquire Verona Pharma. Talking about central banks, also tariffs. So I really like this email. The other thing they have is this ASX Today. And they do just mention any company that might have released some interesting news before they release the email. So for this morning, it was Aurelia Metals, Black Cat Syndicate, and also Vulcan Energy. And finally, Ausbiz. This one's fairly late as well. So just before market opens at 9:32 a.m. I don't mind this one. It's not quite as involved as other emails, but yeah, so yeah, I'd probably look at this probably the least out of everything. But yeah, that's usually the last email I do get on the morning. And I might, depending on when they release it, I might have a look at it or not. But they do release this just before they go live. Okay, so that is all the emails I do receive every single morning and on the weekends. Sometimes it takes me maybe 20 minutes to go through everything I want to read. Sometimes only 5 minutes. Sometimes I don't even do it. Sometimes I just forget about it. Not really forget, but just don't have the time. Anyway, so if you do have any other questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comments. Or the other thing I should say is if you have any other emails or way to get information, I'd love to hear about it. So leave it in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.